Mississippi. Here on the Paul Gallo Show, I'm Mandy Gunasekara, filling in for Paul today with Lance over in Jackson. And I am coming to you live from the 23rd Annual Banking and Finance Symposium here at the Oxford Conference Center. Things are really starting to liven up. The sun's coming up. I'm looking outside. Folks are starting to trickle in. And importantly, we have our very first interview of the guest, or of the day. I'm joined by Dr. Ken Cyree. He is Dean of the Mississippi Bankers Association, Chair of Banking, and Professor of Finance at the University of Mississippi School of Business. Dr. Cyree received his doctorate and MBA from the University of Tennessee. He's the director of the Mississippi School of Banking and was a formal faculty member at the Graduate School of Banking at LSU for over 20 years. Dr. Cyree worked in industry as a credit manager in the textile industry for many years before entering academia and really spearheading a lot of the recent growth and excitement around the School of Business here at Ole Miss. Dr. Cyree, I'm so excited that you're here with us this morning, and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Mandy. All that makes me feel old when I hear all that stuff, but it is true. Also, I'll have to compliment, maybe this shows my age too, your bumper music there. That's my
I did that for you,
song.
sir. Yeah,
I appreciate that. Money Talk,
Yeah,
AC/DC, how
yeah.
can you beat that? I literally was in an event recently, and the guy said, "What's your walkout song?" And that was the one I chose. I don't have a walkout song, but I thought, well, that's
You do now,
appropriate.
Yeah,
I do now.
Lance chose that for you.
I'm big time now, right? That's it. That's fantastic.
That's awesome. Well, you should feel accomplished. That's what I think that you should feel.
Yeah, and thank you for noticing, sir. You know, the devil's in the details, right?
No question. I think, I always love the bumper music you guys do. Of course, I'm a 80s rock kind of guy, so, you usually hit kind of right down the middle there for me. Really good stuff.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
there you go, Lance. Shout out to you and
That's
your
right.
attention to detail.
My head is swollen now.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
it should be. You're doing a great job on that for sure.
That's awesome. Well, Dr. Cyree, tell us a little bit about the Banking Symposium. Explain to listeners what is it about and what are the goals of hosting that here at the Conference Center.
Yeah, it's a great program, and as you mentioned, we've been doing it over 20 years. I've been here for 20 of those, and it's just been incredible to watch. It is really to educate industry professionals and our students and really people at large that are interested in the financial industry. So the idea is that when you graduate college, you get out, you're constantly needing to learn new things with, say, regulatory events or new things that happen, and you never know. Sometimes you even have elections pretty close by too.
Little things like that.
Those may impact things, and things about interest rates, inflation, the economy. All of these things play into what we're trying to talk about, and indeed, those are the topics we'll look at today to try to help bankers make decisions and help people think about how to invest their money to improve the economy, to grow businesses and do all the great things that we do. So it really is incredible. We start off the morning actually with our Women in Finance breakfast, and that's going to be Coach Yo is going to give a little leadership talk. She's fantastic, of course, and we'll do a great job there. And then Jill Castillo will jump in. She's the CEO of Citizens Bank in Oklahoma and one of the top 25 bankers in the country. She's just an incredible lady, has done an amazing job with that bank. And then we've got a couple of keynote speakers coming in. John Augustine from Huntington National Bank, he's their Chief Investment Officer. We have a fireside chat with Greg Adelson, who's the CEO of Jack Henry, and then a fireside chat with Michelle Bowman, who is the Fed governor. Most famously, a few weeks back, she dissented on the 50 basis point interest rate cut and voted to cut it 25%. She's the community banking chair of that committee. She's a community banker by training and was a regulator. Just an amazing woman and really knowledgeable and outstanding. So we're just thrilled to have her too. And we've got some sessions this afternoon too about open banking, which I can go into that a little bit more if you want, and then the regulatory effects of the election, and then we're going to look into cybersecurity and eventually how to grow banks. That's kind of what we're doing.
That's so really hitting a lot of the hot topics with some amazing speakers. How it really is, the lineup is really great, including local representatives from the university alongside you, as well as folks from the Fed. That is a really great representative. What do you think she's going to be focusing or talking about?
Well, yeah, she cannot say a lot about interest
Right.
rate policy because she's prevented from doing that as a Fed person, but she's incredibly knowledgeable about everything that impacts banks. So whether it's regulatory events or rulemaking that cause banks trouble, she's very tuned into that. She understands what it takes to loan money and be successful, and she also understands to protect the consumer and make sure that banks are doing all the right things. So she's got a very well-balanced background. I think this is my opinion, and we actually had this conversation at dinner last night. She's a very practical person, and sometimes academics can get a little like eggheads maybe without that practical experience, and she's got that. I think she's done a great job.
Yeah, certainly. Well, she marries that experience with knowledge and a position of consequence. Just really a great guest among all-star lineup of folks we're going to be hearing about and hearing from throughout the day. Dr. Cyree, I know you're going to be coming back on, keeping us updated throughout the day. I look forward to that. We are here at the 23rd Annual Banking and Finance Symposium at the Oxford Conference Center. We've got to take a quick break. But for our listeners, stay tuned. We've got more after the break, and you've got your news update from Fox News, and then we'll get back. Well, good morning, and welcome back to SuperTalk Mississippi. Here on the Paul Gallo Show, I'm Mandy Gunasekara with Lance over in Jackson, and we are coming to you live from the Oxford Conference Center. It is the 23rd Annual Banking and Finance Symposium. Things are really starting to get exciting here. Registration is officially open or checking in registration, and I'm joined by Dr. Ken Cyree, the Dean of the Ole Miss Business School. And also the leader of this great event that we're excited to keep talking about. So one thing you mentioned is the number of folks that are registered and attending. Could you let us know how many folks are expected to come that you expect to see in here? And are they all from Mississippi or are they from all over?
Yeah, they're from all over. Last year we had people from 17 different states, so it's all over the country. And a lot of our speakers are also very national in the way that they are set up. Some of that's on purpose. We've also got a lot of Mississippians too, of course, and local bankers and even students and alumni and people like that. So it's quite a broad-based event. It's a great event where we try to provide education to the industry and our alumni, friends, and students. And it should be a wonderful morning. Great lineup of speakers, so very exciting. About to kick off here in just a moment with our breakfast, and Coach Yo's going to lead us off this morning with an exciting speech on leadership, and then we'll move into Jill Castilla, who's the CEO of Citizens Bank in Edmond, Oklahoma, and a top 25 banker. So just really great stuff going on all day.
Yeah, you can already tell. You can feel it. Folks are coming in, and you've got a great lineup with folks coming from all over. Oh, it's not just today, though. There were folks came in yesterday. Obviously, there's the Georgia game going on, so there's some logistics there. But
there's a game this weekend? I think that's coincidence, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Absolute coincidence.
Yeah, we do tend to put this around good football games, and this is a big one. So, yeah, that's a good draw for people, too. And we've also got Fed Governor Mickey Bowman, who's just fabulous. She's on the community banking side. She was a banker in Kansas and a regulator in Kansas, and then went to D.C. as a Fed governor. So she's an amazing individual. She'll talk today, too. So a lot of content today. It'll just be an amazing day where we can learn just cutting-edge stuff that's going on right now. I mean, just after this election, too, we've got a panel on regulatory events and things of that nature. So it'll be incredible and an exciting day, and we're starting to get it rolling here, so it'll be good stuff.
Yeah, it'll be really good. And for folks who are just tuning in, we're live from the Oxford Conference Center. One of the things I've been talking about a lot, we've been talking about, is the election. President Trump won. I know folks are going to be talking about it in here, but how is his leadership coming in? How is that going to impact the state of banking and finance? You obviously, a lot of the focus is on inflation and how that impacts people's pocketbooks, but more broadly speaking, what do you foresee folks who are going to be in this room talking about with regard to President Trump's elect impact to the industry itself?
Well, I definitely think bankers are hoping that the regulatory burden can be reduced.
Yeah.
when you talk to a banker, what they want to be able to do is to help people. They want to make loans, and they want to help people realize their dreams, whether it's buying a home, buying a car, starting a business, sending their kids to college. And all of the rules and regulations that are involved are often aimed at protecting, say, the consumer, right, so that the consumer doesn't get ripped off. And so they understand what they're doing, for example, APR rules and a lot of rules. And also what we saw through the anti-money laundering legislation, through the Patriot Act, and then Dodd-Frank, was a focus on transparency and then making sure that banks don't have money laundering or criminal activity taking place too. So there's a lot of rules in banking, and I think bankers are hoping that the regulatory burden can at least be reduced. I don't think Elon Musk can come in and cut 40% of the regulations out of banking, but we can make some changes that allow it to be a little bit easier for people to loan money. We already have competition that aren't banks through fintech that are less regulated, but bankers are extremely good at what they do. Most of them, they're in this to make money. They're a money-making business just like any business, and they want to make loans that are good, which is why they're sometimes tough on credit. But they also want to make loans. They want to help people to realize their dreams and be their customers for the rest of their lives. So I think that's what mostly people are looking for. They're also looking for a little relief on interest rates so that people can borrow more and maybe refinance that home or buy a new home or whatever it might be to help them to realize their dreams in their life. So I think there's a lot that bankers are looking forward to here. And frankly, just the certainty of having the election over, I think, is also good. You see businesses get concerned when things are uncertain. So no matter who would have won, it would have been good to have it done quickly. So I'm thrilled that we were able to get results so soon, even really by, I guess, early Wednesday morning, I guess it was. So that's
right.
good.
Well, a relief for lots of folks, especially the folks trickling in this room. Certainty is the gold standard when it comes to a lot of businesses, certainly in banking. Well, Dr. Cyree, we've got to take a quick break. We know you're going to keep us informed. You're going to join us one more time. But for our listeners, stay tuned. We're coming at you live from the Oxford Conference Center. And at the end of coming up is Fox News, followed by SuperTalk Mississippi News. And we've got more after the break. All right, good morning and welcome back to SuperTalk Mississippi here on the Paul Gallo Show. I'm Mandy Gunasekra, filling in for today with Lance and Jackson. And they always say that time flies when you're having fun, and this is the final segment of the show already, Lance. I can't believe it, but I've been having a lot of fun here, the Oxford Conference Center. We are coming at you live from the 23rd Annual Banking and Finance Symposium, and I am once again joined by Dr. Ken Cyree, who is keeping us abreast of everything that's going on at the symposium. So you were just inside, you came out, things are really picking up. How is it?
Fantastic. We just heard Coach Yo deliver a speech, and she talked about her 5 points of leadership, which were just fantastic. So I tried to take notes there so I can learn a few things, and she just did a great job and very exciting. And a lot of folks already here, which is fantastic. We'll be here all day, and it's just been really, really good. Over 300 registrants, actually. If everybody showed up, I think we'd be pushing 340. You'll usually you'll have a no-show or two, but that's incredible. That's by far our record. I think the most we've ever had before is maybe 250. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a lot of people showing up. Some of that's because of our great speakers, and I know the audience doesn't know this. We actually have a football game this weekend too. Turns out. So
no one's been talking about it.
Yeah, total coincidence, I think. But that's helpful too, and a really big weekend for Ole Miss and for really the state. And it's just been a great morning, and it'll be a great afternoon too, I'm sure. Wonderful speakers here.
Yeah, well, and Coach Yo is always an amazing speaker. She's been such a positive presence here at the university and at Oxford, so that's a really good way to start this whole show, if you will. Now, are students coming? Is this for students as well as... Yeah, the bankers?
Yes, we actually have some students help us. I can see them off over here. Some of our students are helping us. And also we have an event particularly for students this afternoon, which is a networking event, kind of a reception for them at 3 o'clock. And they will come and interact with bankers and we'll talk to them. And we've tried to give them a little bit of coaching. Sometimes students find it a challenge to talk to old people like me, and we've tried to give them a little bit of pointers there. But our students are great. They're very good at interacting, and we've tried to hard code some of that for them. And a lot of them are here going to the sessions. They're listening to the speakers. We have some sessions this afternoon that they can select what they would like, for example, cybersecurity or open banking or growing your bank. So they can go in and listen to some of these sessions individually rather than just a keynote speaker, so they can kind of tailor what they want to listen to and choose. So it'll be just a great day for students too.
What a great opportunity for them, too. I have to say, it's hard to be in Oxford and not be able to carry on some small talk about anything. There's a lot to talk about, but receiving that type of training of how to engage in a professional setting, that's an amazing skill set. I'm glad you're focusing on that and actually developing, because there are some students that leave college and they end up in the real world and they realize that actually getting those jobs that they really want or creating that upward momentum that they desire, it's dependent on establishing personal relationships and, starting early and going from one to the next. So I think that's an amazing skill set to focus on that isn't always offered to students. It is here at the Ole Miss School of Business, but also this real-life opportunity to come and connect with bankers. That's got to create all sorts of opportunities for them personally outside of just the school.
Yeah, and in fact, we're building that out right now. Two alumni in particular are working on a certificate that's a non-credit part of our program. So rather than going through the technical skills, for example, and learning things like interest rate risk and liquidity and things like that, which are very important for bankers, we're doing some extracurricular training for our students to go out and do exactly those things, which are how to engage, how to really have professional etiquette, because a lot of students that are young, they're a little different than us, right? We grew up in a different era, number one, and number two, many of them, for example, might not have ever worked,
Yeah.
and they need to learn, show up on time, be ready to work, answer emails, call people back on the phone, treat customers well, how to deal with conflict. These are all types of things that we try to give them training in. We kind of forget, as more seasoned people, I'll say, not you, of course, Mandy, but me, that people don't necessarily know everything that we do. And I don't mean that arrogantly. I'm just saying, we've had a lot of experience and been through a lot of problems and issues we had to solve. And when you're young, likely you haven't been through a lot of that. So you don't know what to do when a customer's mad at you. You don't know how to approach your boss if you've goofed up. Of course, the answer there is quickly and honestly, right? You go to them quickly and say, okay, I've goofed up. We need to figure out how to fix this. So those are the types of things we focus on. We're trying to get them ready to go out and be great bankers and great finance folks, so they can help, keep Mississippi in the forefront, keep us moving forward, provide jobs, entrepreneurship, everything we're doing, we're focusing on that, making Mississippi great again.
That's right. Well, y'all are doing a great job. You're doing a great job. We thank you so much for your time this morning here at the Oxford Conference Center, the 23rd Annual Banking and Finance Symposium. To our listeners, that wraps it up for the show this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned. We've got great programs lined up throughout the day, and Gerard is going to be out here staying in touch with Ken and talking about all the good things going on in Mississippi, in Oxford at the Banking and Finance Symposium. So with that, have a great day and stay tuned. We've got more for you on SuperTalk Mississippi.